I am Reed. I am 27. Just an average dude. I've made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. Alright, so this is how living frugally built me a net worth of just under 950 grand liquid by 27 years old. I am going to get into everything step by step a little bit about my story, and of course some advice and how you can really do the exact same thing. But before I jump in, I got to give some serious credit where credit is due. There was this video I watched recently from another creator talking about his own frugal journey and how he saved so much money in his 20s by living below his means, and it just clicked something in my brain. He talked about how that frugality gave him so much freedom by his mid-20s that he could quit his job and do whatever he wanted full-time, and I sat there watching it and I was like, oh shit, I have a story like this. I am living it right now, so I wanted to get on here and share my version of it. Let's get right into it. Roll this back to end of 2017, early 2018. I am 19 years old. I had just gotten a job at a startup making $3 grand a month in the real estate niche. Now, $3 grand a month is not that much. It sure as hell is not much today, and it was to even that much back then. But here is where it gets important. My only expenses were literally my phone bill and Ubers to and from the office. Maybe once a week, I'd go out for lunch with coworkers. That is it. No shopping, no rent because I was living with my stepmom at the time. No crazy spending anywhere. I literally invested 50% of my income that year with the intention that I eventually wanted to buy some real estate. I was super into real estate at that point. Here's the key thing though. I didn't save just to save, I saved to invest, and I think more people need to do that 1,000 times over. Your money will burn away by inflation if you just let it sit there. At the very least, you need to have it in a high-yield savings account so you are at least breaking even with inflation and taxes. You want your money working for you, especially when you are young. I remember this vividly. Every other Friday when I got paid, the first thing I would do, no questions asked, was get on my phone, confirm that my paycheck hit my checking account, and then go right to my investment account to buy Vanguard index funds with 50% of my net pay. Didn't matter how big of a bonus I got that month. Sometimes it was a little more than $3 grand, but for the most part that was my salary. And I was like, screw it, I am going to invest half of this thing. I had no other expenses. I could either go buy dumb stuff to look cool, or I could invest for my mid to late 20s, or in this case, the real estate that I wanted to buy. So that is exactly what I did. My eyes were still half shut sometimes, but it built so much discipline to do that every single paycheck. It was ingrained in my brain to physically see that money leave my account and know it was going to a place where it would start to compound and grow. That fired me up on those mornings. That is what got me out of bed. Let us go. Now you have platforms with auto buy features and all that, which is great for automating things, but for beginners, I actually feel like it builds really good habit if you do it manually. If you're typing in $1,500 to transfer over to your investment account, that is important. That got ingrained in me to be like, okay, this is a lot of money. This is majority of my net worth at this point. I got to take it serious. Now I want to talk about the funding source of it. I get it. Some people cannot invest 50% of their income or even 30%. I understand that. Take this info with a grain of salt. If you are in that situation, I empathize with you, but invest what you can. At the absolute minimum, you want to get in the market. You want to be beating the system. The system is rigged against you. It is so important to find your way own up to it and just be like, listen, I got to get my money in the market. I got to get it working for me so I don't have to work for the rest of my life. I meet so many people in their late 20s and early 30s who tell me they wish they started investing earlier. And I always tell them the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. Compounding is not some magical secret. It is math. But math only works if you give it time. If you start at 25 with $500 a month in an index fund earning 8% average annual return, you will have over $1.5 million by the time you are 65. If you wait until 35 to start doing the exact same thing, you end up with less than 700 grand. That 10-year delay costs you over $800,000. That is the price of waiting, so do not wait. Fast forward a few years after doing that over and over again with market performance, of course. The market has boomed, so I am not going to say luck did not play a factor there. I got a few raises in between, continued to build my skill set. I had a deposit ready of 50 grand, $50,000 was sitting in this account that I could liquidate at any point. And about a month, I kid you not, maybe a couple weeks after that money hit, there was a pre-construction townhome complex around my neighborhood about 10 minutes away from my house that started selling. With my real estate knowledge, I had a very strong gut feeling, but also just raw business sense that this was going to appreciate. It was close to the highway, close to a bunch of schools, and just a very appealing neighborhood. I was like, this is the one. If there has ever been a time, this is the time to pounce on it. And that was all my money at that point. But I wanted to see if that bet would pay off, and it did big time. I remember going to the sales center, putting in my checks, doing the whole signing everything. It closed maybe 2 years later, and I had sold it for 120 grand profit doing nothing. Literally just sat on it. I did not rent it out, nothing like that. The way pre-construction works is you buy into it right before it is built, before ground is even broken. And it starts to appreciate from the moment you close that that deal alone changed my entire financial trajectory. Now here's the point I want to get across. What would have happened if I did not have that money? Nothing. I would not have had my money starting to grow and work for me. And I sure as hell would not have had 50 grand to invest, no chance. If I had blown it on dumb stuff, who knows where that money would have been? It would have been in stuff to make me look cool, which I literally do not care about. I actually care about being rich here. That is the whole point. Let me be really honest with you about something. Looking cool is a trap. I see so many people in their 20s driving cars they cannot afford, wearing clothes that cost more than their rent, and eating out every single night. And they wonder why they are broke. The math does not lie. If you are spending $600 a month on restaurants and bars, that is over $7,000 a year. If you invested that instead, you would have over 100 grand in 10 years. So ask yourself, is that avocado toast really worth $100,000? For me, the answer was always no. That is one portion of the story. The second portion is actually where majority of my net worth has come from. Not from investing, not from the real estate flip. Majority of it has come from cash flow on a service business I own. To give full context, from March 2022 and forward, I have earned roughly 20 to 25 grand a month in profit income per month. And my personal expenses were only 4 grand a month up until very recently. You do that for long enough with no flashy stuff, no crazy things being purchased, and you build up a very, very nice nest egg even after taxes. Now, I know I should have invested more. This is one of my regrets. I had been so focused on stacking cash and building my skill sets within my business, which is great, but I could have made so much more money and been sitting on so much more if I had invested that. I understand that, but it was just appreciating there in cash flow. And lo and behold, up until recently, this is where it is so important to be frugal in your mid-20s. Who cares, man? That is your time to stack your wealth, to get your skills nice and frothy. You want to start making good money and putting it to work for you. And this does not mean I did not enjoy life. I went on a few vacations. I bought nice clothes at that point. I was going out on nice dinners, ordering high-quality meats and foods, taking those luxuries, but I was keeping my expenses so damn low that fast forward. Now we are sitting on a very nice nest egg. Enough that the interest alone is making a couple grand a month. I can sit in bed all day and do absolutely nothing and have full true freedom. And I think that is what I want to lead this with. Freedom. Freedom is not Lambos and yachts. Freedom is being able to stick it to the man, not having any meetings on my calendar, doing whatever the hell I want whenever I want. I go to the gym at 1 p.m. every day. I sometimes get up a little bit late. I have not set an alarm in 3 years. And I want everyone to feel this way. I want everyone to feel the luxury of living life that way. There was this gaming creator I used to watch when I was 12 or 13 years old. He published a video called Thank You, and at the time I did not understand why. I watched it again recently for context, and he was thanking his audience for allowing him to be able to go to lunch on a Wednesday afternoon with his wife. Because of YouTube money, because he had true freedom. And I was like, oh my God, all these years, that is what matters. The Lambos and the other stuff, trust me, I am a car guy just as much as the next person. But my freedom is worth thousands of Lamborghinis over and over. I will take freedom all day, any day of the week, and I hope you can do the same. If you just take some of the principles from these videos, it can change your life. You do not need to invest crazy amounts of money, you just need to start small. Let your compounding do the work for you, and only recently did I move into a very nice apartment. I do not even have a crazy car yet, and I do not plan to for a very long time, but I upgraded the lifestyle a little bit recently, and it has gone well, and I am going to continue making these videos. If you have any questions, please put them below. I am very interested to hear your thoughts. And again, if you have made it this far, I want you to win, trust me. Let me give you a few concrete steps you can take starting today. If you are watching this and feeling like you are behind, step 1, track every single dollar you spend for the next 30 days. Use a spreadsheet, an app, or a notebook. I do not care what you use, but you need to see where your money is actually going. Most people have no idea they are bleeding $400 a month on subscriptions they forgot about or coffee runs that add up. Step 2, cut your biggest expense category by 20%. If rent is your biggest expense, get a roommate or move to a cheaper place. If food is your biggest expense, cook at home more. If transportation is your biggest expense, sell the car and take public transit. Just cut something. Step 3. Open a brokerage account right now. I do not care if you only put $50 in it. Get the account open, buy one share of a low-cost index fund, like VU or VTI. Congratulations, you are now an investor. Step 4. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to that brokerage account every single payday. Start with 10%. If that is all you can do, then bump it up by 1% every month. You will not even notice the money is gone, and your future self will thank you. Step 5. Find a way to increase your income. This is the part most people skip. They focus only on cutting expenses, but there is a limit to how much you can save. There is no limit to how much you can earn. Start a side hustle, learn a high-value skill, ask for a raise, or start a small business on the side. Even an extra $500 a month invested over 30 years at 8% turns into over 700 grand. That is life-changing money. I want to be really clear about something too. Frugal does not mean cheap. Frugal means spending money on the things that actually matter to you and cutting ruthlessly on everything else. I still spend money on good food and travel and things that bring me joy. I just do not waste money on status symbols that impress people I do not even like. That is the shift you need to make. Stop trying to look rich and start trying to be rich. They are two completely different things. Looking rich is easy. Anyone can lease a BMW they cannot afford. Being rich is hard. It requires discipline, patience, and delayed gratification. But the payoff is worth it. If you are in your 20s right now, you have the single greatest asset in the world on your side, and that is time. You cannot buy more time, you cannot earn more time. But you can use the time you have wisely. Every dollar you invest today will compound for decades. Every skill you learn today will pay you for a lifetime. Every habit you build today will shape your future. Do not waste this decade. Your 30-year-old self will either be grateful for the sacrifices you made now or angry at the opportunities you wasted. The choice is yours. I am going to keep making these videos sharing everything I learn as I go. I am not a financial expert. I am just a normal guy who figured some stuff out and wants to help others do the same. If you have made it this far, thank you for watching. I hope this helped, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.